I'm going to have to get closer.
These people must move because it's press only here. Only press only. So those people must
It's far too far away.
On who I am, some of you may know me, so I was a TV presenter in South Africa. I was with Kids Show, doing TV for 10 years. I did a whole bunch of other things. You can't hear me, okay? We'll try and put the loud in that way. I'm speaking as loud as I can. Can you hear me? Yeah! Okay, so my name is Shana Tivarti. I've been here for a few years now. Just like most of you, some of you have been here for longer than I am, so thank you very much for having me here. Admittedly, I will let you know that a few days ago, I had no idea what Move 1 Million was all about. So it is very, very cool to be here. Thank you very much, Hayley, for having me here with you guys today. Before we crack on, I just want to go through some very basic house rules, okay? You're probably aware of some of the stuff during the duration of this event, but please refrain from any acts of violence, verbal, or any other abuse, including swearing, blasphemy, racial slurs, arson, looting, and littering. Please refrain from consuming any narcotics or alcohol. Please adhere to social distancing regulations, including wearing your mask, using hand sanitizer where possible, and keeping 2 meters apart from others. Please respect all private, public, and government property and refrain from vandalism. This means do not mount, hang inflammatory items, or damage monuments or buildings. The volume is rather forward.
You need a much louder system.
Alright! Can you hear me now? I'm going to lose my voice, but that's okay. Please respect our national flag and display it in accordance with our national flag laws. Please do not display the apartheid flag. It is illegal and you can fix it. Be kind and cautious. That was my first swear word. I'm sorry. Please be kind and courteous to all members of the public and authorities. If, for any reason, we are asked by the Metropolitan Police to stop proceedings and disperse, please do so calmly and immediately. If this happens, you may choose to branch off into groups of no more than 30 and network in nearby parks or coffee shops. If a marshal or team member from Move 1 Million approach you and ask you to stop any certain behavior or remove a placard or any item that deems to be not in line with the movement, then please respectfully do so. It wouldn't be cool to attract negative attention to yourself and spoil today for others. Lastly, please have fun. I would like to now call on the Lord who's going to lead us with a universal prayer and 1 minute of silence. How's it moving? Okay. Today we come together to unite all South Africans around the world
it's going to be raining. Sort of sunny. This is pretty sunny. So I don't call it sunny, but it'll do. Let me say this to you. I have a speech here full of facts and figures. And I tell you, it's too damn boring. It's too damn boring for me to read it to you. So what I'm going to do is instead give you some images. Because I think the images are what we really, really stand for. The first one I'm going to give you is the importance of this square for what we do. Do you know what that building is? And what was it before it was South Africa House? It was the Morley Hotel. And the Morley Hotel is important in all of our history because it was there that W.P. Schreiner, the former Cape Prime Minister and the brother of Olive Schreiner, stayed in 1909. And what was he doing here? He came with the people who would later found the ANC, who would found the African Political Organization. People like Rubusana, Dube, Abdurrahman. He came here and he stayed here because he begged the British government not to approve the Union of South Africa Constitution, which robbed people of their right to vote. How many of you know that in the Cape we have the right to vote from the 1830s? For nearly 100 years we had the right to vote, and the British did not extend it to the rest of South Africa. It was an absolute tragedy. I can explain if you want why, but let's leave it at that. The other image is 1914. This square had 500,000 British trade unionists. Why? Because young Smuts had thrown South African trade unionists out of the country. Nobody knows about this, but I promise you, this square was full of them. And the third one is there, which is where we, those of us who've been here a long time, and I've been here too damn long, we stood there year after year in the non-stop picket. We demanded the end of apartheid, and we were right, and we won. We all won. We won together, and it was a great achievement, and it's one from which I will never resign, and it's one of which the most proudest moments of my life was those wonderful, wonderful scenes that you will all remember of the lines of people snaking across the countryside, across the townships, going to vote, to cast their votes for the first time, having that right, which should never, never be taken away from anybody. But the other thing that I would remember is another image, which is not such a good one. And it comes from a magazine. I think it was Fair Lady. I don't even know if Fair Lady still exists in South Africa. There was an interview with Alida Tambo, where she introduced people to her house, having just moved back to South Africa. And it was a beautiful house. I think it was in Sandton. And it was way beyond anything that Oliver Tambo could possibly afford from his salary as the leader of the ANC. For which I don't mind him saying any way he likes, he's welcome to. But she brought, and showed people, and who did it belong to? It belonged to Lonro. And that was the problem. That was the first image that most people had when Oliver Tambo returned to the country of how the ANC expected its leadership to live. The bigger the car, the better. The bigger the house, the better. What happened to those passionate beliefs in justice and freedom? Instead, people went into a cesspit of corruption. Cutfall, yes, up to bloody Luby. Everybody is cutfall now. And look at what has happened with the money that was poured into the COVID funds. It's disappeared. We all know that. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. And the saddest thing that I had was last year I went to report on the election in South Africa. I came across many people who still believe passionately in their country. But many of those people were absolutely destitute. They had no jobs. Bloomberg is now saying that the unemployment rate will rise to officially 35% in the next 2 years. I mean, there just are no jobs. This is what we've been left with. But the one thing that gives me absolute hope and courage for our country is that South Africans have never taken their reverses lying down. Whether it was the Boers who stood up to the British when they tried never forget that when the Treaty for Vereniging was signed, eventually with the British, it was the women in the concentration camps who said, if you think you can go on fighting, fight on. Do not give up. So I pay tribute to all the people, whether they died fighting the British, whether they died fighting the apartheid government. I pay tribute to all those people who never gave up, and nor will we. We will not in the future. We will not be ruled by people like Justice Schlope. You remember him whispering to the ears of the men and women of the Supreme Court that Jacob Zuma should be given an easy ride. Why is Jacob Zuma not in court today? Why is he not facing justice? The justice we all work for. And arrested. This is what we are here for. And quite frankly, we must have a change in the Constitution. We cannot have a Constitution where you don't know who your Member of Parliament is. You can't go to a Member of Parliament and say, look, the school roof has fallen in. The flood has taken away the bridge. We cannot have that because there is no Member of Parliament. Nobody represents you. They represent the whole bloody country. Well, is that any damn use? We need a constitution which we can hold individuals to account. We can say, if it's you or my MP and you don't deliver at the next election, I will vote against you, not against the whole party. We must have change in South Africa. We must have the courage that our history tells us we have. We must have
Wonderful, powerful words over there. Thank you so very much. Those of you who may not know, we're all here for, certain things, different things. We're here for things that we all individually believe in or believe in together as a country. I am a part of the LGBTQ+ community. And even though South Africa was a pioneer in recognizing LGBTQ rights in November 2006, by being the first African country to legalize same-sex marriage, it was also the first of many first world countries to do that. So yes, it's a huge, wonderful feat. However, as great as that is, South Africa, unfortunately, still has a very long way to go when it comes to equality for the LGBTQ+. Many communities are unable to reach their full potential as a result of failed leadership. Leaders who do not represent their constituents. Where is the representation in leadership? Yes, many call themselves allies, but are they even? Because we still have a lot of silencing of LGBTQ+ voices in the communities, which means that conversations are not being had. I know of an organisation that physically goes around the country to different police stations to educate police on how to treat LGBTQ+ people, how to handle us, how to listen to us, how to understand us, how to help us. I don't even know if they are listening or if it's even working, because to this day, correctional rape is still rife, and many black lesbians continue to live in fear in townships and rural areas. Do not get me started on gender-based violence. Trans people continue to live in fear. I even personally know of one trans woman who said she'll far sooner stay at home and be lonely because at least she'll be alive. What kind of a life is that? Not long ago, choreographer Curvin Fortuyn was stabbed to death by a homophobic 14-year-old girl, a child, had so much hate inside of her for another human being that she stabbed him to death. Hate crime, no matter if it's about race, creed, or sexuality, is not okay. We need to continue to hold the government accountable for the lack of education. Like I said, yes, apparently we have many allies, but seriously, it is not enough. President Cyril Ramaphosa has LGBTQ plus community. But words are just words as far as I'm concerned, because beneath him, many ministers and many leaders are not doing enough for the community. LGBTQ plus people still can't walk into a police station and report assault without being questioned about their lifestyle. Again, don't get me started on gender-based violence. So if the police cannot serve and protect a heterosexual woman, what are they doing for the LGBTQ plus community? Exactly nothing. The huge problem lies in many people within the community also believing that being gay is un-African. And boy are they wrong, because the history books say otherwise. Our history books say otherwise, not the books that we were told through the words of the colonizers. We need more representation as a whole. We need people within the LGBTQ plus community who want to see real change, put themselves forward to be the representatives within the government to assist in change that can happen from the inside and not just from the sidelines. We need more representation on TV, and I'm not talking trashy reality shows with rich gay men. I'm talking about real representation, so that a young girl in a small rural village can see herself on TV. A young trans boy knows that he's not alone. Or a young person who knows that they are non-binary can see someone just like them on screen. More so, we need more education. We need more discussion on LGBTQ rights, LGBTQ community and life orientation. If we continue to make conversations about the LGBTQ taboo, then how are we ever going to normalize it? We need more safe spaces for the LGBTQ, and we need to continue fighting the struggle.
What about the farmers? That's enough of
Like I said, we're all here for different things. I'm a part of the LGBTQ community, so this is what I want to fight for. Okay? Yes, the farmers. Yes, the people who are poor. Yes, the poverty. Yes, the crime. Yes, the corruption. I know. We are all hatful.
Hatful!
I recently had a conversation with the High Commissioner of South Africa to New Zealand, and it was wonderful to see a woman in power, a black woman in power, wanting to educate herself and do change. So if one woman in power can do that, then there are more people who can do the same thing. So this is what this is about. We need to get the right people in power to make the changes that are needed, to cover all of the things that you are hatful about.